Okay, so this one is actually the subject of a TEDx talk that I gave. And so, spoiler alert, you may want to see the TEDx talk first. I'll try and leave a link below. But I had a 47-year-old man come into my rural hospital, and the story was that he came to with an elbow on the roof of the car and the other elbow over the door of the car. And he had had an episode of urinary incontinence, which was very atypical for him. To make a long story short, he went through a full workup. Nobody could find anything, and it just wasn't acting like seizures. He was sent to the big city in Buffalo. They referred him to Rochester. He had a big 10-day video EEG, and it came up normal. And at that point, we didn't have much to add. But to make a long story short, his mother came with him to the next visit. She was about 86, if I remember right, carrying a Discover magazine, and said, "Jack, show this to the doctor." And so I looked at it and I said, "Boy, this is really a rare condition. I really don't think this is what's going on." But sure enough, I ended up getting the testing because I had nothing else to offer. But at least I said, okay, I can at least try what they suggested, although I thought it was a remote possibility. And sure enough, he ended up having acute intermittent porphyria, which is roughly a 1 in a million diagnosis. And then on top of that, the next week, a neurologist came up to me and said, "Hey, look, I heard you made a diagnosis of acute intermittent porphyria." And I said, "Well, really?" It was this 86-year-old mom with no medical training and a Discover magazine. He said, well, anyway, I have a patient I've always thought might have acute intermittent porphyria. And as far as we know, it was completely unrelated to the patient at hand. And I said, you have to realize the chance of this is minuscule, but I can help you with that. I can get the testing, sure. Well, sure enough, that patient came back positive as well. And it just goes to show that even in very remote locations, you can make diagnoses that are missed by the big guys. And you always have to keep your eyes open and an open mind. Listen to people who care, even if they shouldn't know any better.